Welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. You remember every episode when I say, hey, yo, call me if you need help? Well, some of you listen to me and some of you, ding, 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 call me. Hey, Scott, I got a problem. Can you help me out? And I try to help him out. So this one dude, Brett, he called me. He said, I listened to the podcast. You said to give me a call. I got a problem, dude. I'm taking the test tomorrow. I failed it once. Can you help me? So we jumped on Zoom, did about 40 minutes, tried to help him out as much as possible, got him on the straight and narrow, and I think he's going to do awesome tomorrow. If he doesn't, I'll clean it up even more. But I want you to hear the way we talk through things, because question-solving approach, understanding iterative and incremental, how to answer common types of question, how to do communication, stakeholder engagement, all those things we covered. So enough me jibber-jabbering. Let's go in. I'll shoot you over there. Listen to it, and then really, if you find yourself, man, I'd like a little lesson, you know how to do it. Reach out to me, 757-759-5282. See you later, alligator. Brett, what up, dude? We're going to go through, you got, the exam tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, sweet. We've never worked together, I don't think, yet. We just reached out because whatever. All right, no big deal, dude. So
I have listened to your Spotify.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. All right. So, all right, just let me know how we're feeling. 1 to 10, how you feeling tomorrow? I'm going to pass it. I'm going to fail it somewhere in the middle.
So this is my, I actually took it 2 weeks ago. I got above the target in people. In process, I got below target.
Okay,
and
all right.
Then business environment, I got target, and it failed me.
Okay.
It's when I looked at the chart, it seemed like it was very close.
That's good, right? That's good. We're starting at an okay spot. Where do you, agile waterfall? I know that people, process, business. So process tells me it's, first of all, it's a small sample size, right? Because it's one test. We don't want to get into the world of taking that many tests or whatever. But so process tells me possibly rules of the road kind of things, possibly, right? Waterfall, agile, how to deal with each, and that'll teach us how to do hybrid. So with agile and waterfall, do you feel better with one of them, or do you feel equally goodish, or how do you feel, dude?
I think the first test where I kind of crumpled was every time I saw the words incremental or iteration or iterative, I assumed it was an agile question.
That would be true-ish.
And then looking back, I think I completely turned my mind onto the agile thought process on those questions. And the more I've been looking it up, there is circumstances where you could tell me if I'm wrong, where you could have an incremental project in traditional. Is that true?
So let's talk it through. So I know you asked me that one question, and when you're texting me, that's cool. So incremental and iterative, they both start with A, and they both sound confusing. What do they each mean? So when I think about pick one of them. If we were explaining it to my mom, what does this mean? What does incremental mean?
Incremental, I look at it as sections, as in I'm giving you in 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. It's almost like phases of a project.
Love it. And then we'll talk it through. And then what does iterative mean?
When I think of iterative, I think of more of the Scrum process of basically the iteration, and then you have the retrospective, and then it goes all the way back. So it's more of a agile thought process. I don't really fully get iterative. I get more of what I'm reading in iterative. Do you get what I mean? It's a little
kind of. Yeah. I know. Okay, so we're there. We're on the edge, dude, which is awesome. Yeah. All right. So when you think of incremental, I like where you said where you're chunking it up, right? So basically, incremental and simple thing is small chunks of completed work are delivered throughout the project. Now we can release them or not, but we're gonna be boom, we're done with something. So we are, instead of one big delivery at the end, we might have a full delivery, but we are quantifiably chunking up the work. So we could take a waterfall project or a big construction project and say, we're going to deliver incrementally these modules, these sections, these floors, these whatever, right? So that's just chunking it up, right? And then when we go there, so it's not necessarily waterfall or agile, it's just talking about how the delivery cycle goes. And that aligns a lot with the planning cycle that we'll talk about. And then
Yeah.
iterative is that the work and our processes get better as we go. So I see that in my brain as more iterative is like things get better, 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 better as we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it has to improve in iterative?
I mean, the pursuit of improvement, right? I guess you'd say, or like the like. So think about Scrum. You said is which one of these?
Scrum is iterative, but that could be incremental as well.
Yeah, right. It was a trick question. It's both, dude. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And so Scrum is both incremental, meaning we work in 4 weeks or less. That's by the Scrum guide, but normal 2 weeks. We'll just call it that. 2 week sprints, right? Time boxed, what the team
Yep.
decides. And it's iterative in the sense that like it's additive to the product, right? So like the increments that we produce are like bricks in the wall, if you will, as far as functionality goes. And so we are
Okay.
bettering the product by that, and we are bettering the process. You mentioned retrospective. What's the purpose of a retrospective?
Lessons learned. It's
Right. Let them learn.
yeah.
Yeah. In a sense, like it basically the if you want to get like words nailed in your brain, the retrospective, the sprint retrospective is to inspect the process by which our team does work. All right. So we're Agile's all about inspection, transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So in iterative, we are inspecting the product in the sprint review, and we're inspecting the process in the retrospective, and we're getting better there. So it's iterative in the sense that we're trying to loopy and get better in how we deliver value, like what we deliver and how we do it. So what and how.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you see incremental and iterative, it could be just chunked up incremental, or if it's Scrum or something like that, it's both if done right. Right. So yeah. Does that help at all?
Yeah, so would it be fair to say that in an iterative process, you are also it's an increment, like they could be working together almost. It's not one or the other.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of Scrum, right? And but I mean,
Yeah.
if we just said like, hey, instead of delivering like this, we're going to chunk it up, then that's purely incremental. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not worried because it's Thursday, it's Wednesday, and tomorrow's Thursday, and we just met, and there's only so much we can get better on, but like we're
Yeah.
gonna do our best here, all right? But like when we think about agile and waterfall, like everybody, a lot of people think it's like, yo, way over here, and that's true. And I'm kind of talking out this right now. We all usually start with a waterfall mentality because that's how the world has been bred and taught. Like a lot of planning way up front, a lot of execution. That's cool. And so like we have variance as we go down with like, hey, maybe the first thing we do is instead of doing fully, we just chunk it up. We have little milestones and deliverables and chunk there. So we're working into, what we said earlier, an incremental kind of approach that's phased out. They might call it rolling wave planning or something like that, right? And then if we go deeper, maybe that's what's needed. Like we're modularly producing sections of a ship. That's cool. And so that's just planning as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then as we get in Scrum, we go even deeper where it's like, we're producing stuff and we're learning. And then it's like, there's a lot of discovery just by the nature of the project. So it just depends on like where you're starting. Yeah, this is more of a waterfall neighborhood, but more waterfalls just in like, we understand where we're going. We understand that the nature of the product and the beast that we're working with demands that we nail it down up
Yeah.
front and that we can plan it. And then as we go deeper into the more discovery neighborhood, we're not going to wait on our hands till we know everything, but we're going to go and chunk it up as little as we possibly can. And we're going to learn as we do it in the incremental and iterative kind of dance.
Like building blocks.
Yeah, like building blocks, dude. Because like the sites that I build and my boys and girls build in the back, like all the products and all that jazz. Like
Yeah.
I have an idea, I'll draw a picture, I'll get inspired, blah 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 blah, and it's pretty much where we're going. We know what we're doing, but like the farther from the future we get in like an agile kind of sense, the less secure we are. Like the window of planning goes wider with the options here. But like the closer, it's really tight. It's like I can tell you, or at least the weather dudes can tell you what the weather's going to be like tomorrow.
Yeah.
7 months from now, probably not. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's
Makes
basically
sense.
what it is. Yeah.
No, that was great. Thank you.
That's awesome, dude. Cool. Now, when you're solving questions, like what's your approach to solving questions, dude?
So I've thought of different test taking skills based
Okay.
off of, I've noticed these questions are pretty long.
Yeah.
Just from, I mean, I've been watching videos of you, I've been watching
Yeah. Yeah.
videos
Yeah.
of David, and the other guy. And one thing that I also saw was really narrowing down on the keywords because you
Okay.
get lost in all the words. So I'm really gonna like pin out and to take a step back. I do have the luxury of that because I, as I said, I have double time where
That's great, dude.
processing. So I'm gonna really take it, cross out each question. But
Yeah.
I did see one guy say something that I wanted to know if you would agree with.
Okay.
He
This
said,
is fun. Let me attack another professor. That's awesome. Let's do it. Let's make some enemies.
"Sorry,
Let's make some
no,
enemies,
it's
dude. Let's go. No. Tell me. I have opinions, strong ones. So go.
yeah." It said read in a long question, and majority of them are long. Read the last sentence and then read all the questions. Then read the question over again because then you actually know what you're talking about. So basically, I'll read the last sentence and then identify which process I'm doing. Am I doing scope? Am I doing
Okay.
risk? Am I doing conflict? Would you agree
Right.
with that approach?
No.
Okay.
But I mean, the quick answer is no. But like
Okay.
as a learning exercise, I often find it useful, like just as like a mix it up, where I will have students read the answers by themselves. This is not a practice that I would say on the exam, but sometimes with students, because we solve questions in a very precise way, I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have
yeah.
them read the answers to say which answers, like if we didn't even know what was up above the line at the top, which answers automatically just seem like not good practical answers or approaches to solving problems, just to
That's
challenge in their ability to do that. Now that's like a learning exercise because at the end of the day, like when we think is like, is this a conflict? Is this a whatever? And we start narrowing ourselves down with knowledge areas, there's a risk that we get too away from ourselves, that we start
mhm.
thinking this in too academic a look, and we lose like what's in our own brain. Okay.
Yeah.
So do I agree that we read the last sentence first? Absolutely. That's 100%. Whoever said it, you'll need to tell me that dude or dudette and I are in 100% agreement. What I want you to do is read the last sentence first because that tells you where you're going. Like, is it what we do next, what we should have done, what we're doing now? Now, instead of going down, what I want you to do is go up to the top. And I want you to forget about the answers. Okay?
Mm,
Now,
yeah.
all right, there's a dude that I to relax. I don't work out. I'm getting fatter by the day, dude. It's out of control. Like, but I started to walk golf course. So I watched the YouTube video for a guy that does golf, and he's kind of like me, but he's like whatever, hits
Yeah.
golf. But his thing when you hit golf balls is he said that too many people just like rush into it and just like don't know what they're doing and they hit the golf ball. All right. I don't know if you play golf, it doesn't matter. So what he says is there's a method. It's like you have like let's imagine that the hole is down here. Okay. He says, I want you to have a line where you stand back here, you picture the shot, you get yourself organized, and once you cross the line, then there's no thinking, there's no calculating, there's no nothing. You set up and you hit the ball. So there's like a thinking line. Now, what he does for golf is that it makes you hold back, slow down, take in the scenario, see the shot in your head, make a decision on the club, and then you say, I'm committing to that. And then you walk across the line, set up, no second thoughts, no swing thoughts, none of that junk, and you just and you hit it. And so that's an example. What I want you to do is the same metaphor. You see two sides of the question. The question's up here, the answers are down here.
Yeah.
Everybody focuses their attention on the answers. Wrong. Focus your attention on the question. That's where the gold is. So I would prefer you to spend more time up here than down here. I
Mhm.
want you to think of the answers as you want to go there prepared. Instead, if you go there unprepared, they're like, and another, I use a lot of examples like used car salesmen. They're like, hey, well, look at this car, look at this car, look at this. They're pull you left and right. but you don't have the foundation yet to make a judgment. So what you do is you read the last sentence, say, hey, where am I going? Then you read this and you pretend that the answers ain't even there. What if this was free response, bro? And so you read it and you say, yo, is this a waterfall, agile, something hybrid? Cool. So you're like, oh, it's a waterfall project. Sweet. All right, what are the key words? This word, this concept. All right, sweet. Now, what if somebody walked in and said, bro, explain this to me? Then you wouldn't read it. You would say, all right, here's the Cliff Notes. It's a waterfall project. We're way early. We're in trouble with some kind of blah, blah, blah. Here's what we've done. You know, you just state it in your own words, okay? In your brain.
Yeah.
All right? Then you ask yourself, what the heck would I do? And so you're like, oh, shoot. Well, this guy's upset and that guy's blah, blah, blah. I might do this. So by doing that, you're becoming the boss, bro. These questions will run you if you don't run it. All right? So you come out and say, yo, this is what the summary is. This is what I'm going to do. Then at that point, you go, I'm stepping over the line and I'm going to go to each answer. Go ahead.
No, you're right. It's brilliant.
You know it right, bro. Yeah. And then I'm just joking. And then you go to each answer one by one and you say, all right, you already have an opinion. It might not be perfect, but then you say, how does this answer measure against what your brain said? That looks like a cyclops. But what your brain said, you compare it like, oh, yeah, that's kind of close to what I said, or it's way off. What do I think? And the key words is I like it, I dislike it because of something. And then as you do that, you have the temerity, the hope, the confidence to go, I'm going to cross it out. Or then you go to the other one, you look each of them you look them deep in the eyes, the answers, and you say, I like it or dislike it. Now, you could spend a romantic weekend with every question, but don't do that, right? You want to be methodical and go through it. And maybe you get down like everybody else. You cross this one out, you cross that. Now you're down to the bottom two. But as my rant ensues, and I'm almost done, you have already weighed against what your brain says and what those said, and you've used the magical words of because. So then you have something to put on the scales and say which one is the better of the two. So while that dude is close, this is better. And from me, in my perspective.
So for the because
that's the way I would do it. One more time.
For the because part, you're writing when you're reading it, I like this answer because it includes this. Okay.
Well, in the exam, if you're it comes out through your fingers kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know do you get a separate room, dude?
I believe so.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they will let you talk or not on the exam for
I don't know.
You can't really talk. And
last time I did that, and it was
right. And so here's the thing. Tomorrow is the exam. So what I don't want you to do as a doctor is change everything. So if you smoke, keep smoking, right? If you're, if you eat Starbucks in the morning, fire it up. So I don't want you to drastically change, but just kind of slow it down. Last sentence, read it, think it through. Because some of the questions that you asked me on text, I was like, dude, you know the answer. Probably. You just ain't thinking. And so if you slow down and you think about it and chocolate and vanilla, we're talking play the hits, the simple, logical, you said the word servant leader. What's going to make this project better? What's going to help us better understand? What's going to better help us align? What's going to give us a better chance of not being as goofed up tomorrow?
No, yeah. I mean, it's as you said, it's these questions that kill me are what would be, there's a conflict, what would be the next step, right? And obviously it would be identify more of what's going on. However, all you're seeing there more is communicate, have a team building, a happy hour was one of the questions, have one-on-one conversations with the individual and and then the other one was have meetings with the whole team.
Right. So let's think through that. So now while you're not telling me exact questions and I'm not giving you advice on all questions, we're talking about it. But just in general, I'm going to think that bowling and beer is probably not the answer. Now,
Yes,
I'm
of
not
course.
saying it's not the answer in life. It could possibly be the answer to all in
Yeah,
life,
yeah.
but like probably not the answer. It could be like if the question, it's like the right thing for the right scenario. There could be one in a blue moon, and I could be wrong about like the team is working hard but is worn out and needs to, we need to find a way. It'll slap you in the face, bro. Like it needs to find a way to get it. So you're like gonna, in those situations in real life, you'd be like, hey, like come on down, let's go bowling and beer and chicken wings and stuff
Let's
like that.
figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, what? But once in a blue moon. Mostly, if a team member, if it's singular, is not motivated, or even if it's like two dudes are pissed off, I'm gonna lean toward the
Ooh.
understanding, discuss, maybe discuss. I don't know about the word, but like if you work for me or I work for you, and one of us was upset, would we talk about it in front of everybody? Probably not. We probably talk about it like, hey man, hey Brett, like, dude, like what's going on? Like, can I help
Yeah.
you? So I would say with them, now if there's a team problem, like Joe and Jane are fighting and they can't communicate and all that stuff, there may be a isolate one-on-one to talk to each of them. But like when we get in like the agile kind of world, we might be, let's talk about how we handle conflict together. In the retrospective, let's talk about our team charter. Let's talk about those things. But I would always kind of go to the individual first
Yeah.
and then kind of negotiate and work the two parties or three parties together.
Because I wouldn't analyze the situation prior to really understanding, identifying what's going on.
Yeah, you'd go and say, like in sales or in any situation, project manager, whatever, the number one thing people think they got to do is make a lot of like, look at me, I'm so smart. But the better is tell me what's going on, bro. What are you feeling? What's your
So
approach? What's your stuff?
definitely.
Yeah.
The members part, that part is exactly because it's the S. It really, that
Mm-hmm.
changes the whole question. Is it the whole
Yeah.
team having a problem? Or is it just two people and now you're not being a servant leader because now you're incorporating other people who didn't have a problem into this
100%.
issue? So this makes complete sense. Thank you.
And then think about for a second. If we spend more time on the top half and we go, all right, my mom's getting ready to walk in. I got to explain it to her. There's one person that's upset, or there's 73 persons that are upset, and they've been upset for 70 years, or they just got upset this afternoon, or it's really important, or it's a personal issue. It's blah, blah. Then okay, I'm discussing it as a team, or I'm going down to the individual level, or whatever.
Definitely.
So the more you listen, I'm gonna try to draw an ear. That's an ear. The more you listen, the better you are, possibly. Not your head.
You're right. That's
Maybe. Yeah. Sweet. So and then
thank
I
you.
think with this stuff, like you got really close. So you're not like part of tomorrow is like, yo, I can do this. Like
Yeah.
if you multiply 180 times, like let's just say 30% wrong, just back of the envelope. That's not how they grade the test, but close enough. 0.3 times 180, dude, you can miss 54 questions. Like that's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So it's
Which
like
I'm
you're gonna
confident
miss.
that I will. Yeah.
What's that? Go ahead.
I'm confident that I should do well.
Yeah.
It's just more of these little things that you're identifying to me, like yes, like the test taking that
Yeah.
I mean in a weird way, the extra time, it almost now you're reading stuff
Right.
more and more, and you're just getting mentally abused out there. By
Right.
question 100, you feel like you read each question 6 times over.
Right.
And so that was what I definitely struggled with.
Well, that's good. So you're appreciating, you're talking through it. So it's a gift. It's not a gift, but
No, it is.
it is a
Yeah.
fact. You get more time. Super. Let's use
Yeah.
it, but let's not just like, oh, we're gonna grind it to death. I think the thing that I have a problem doing, and you may, is incrementally or whatever, incrementally taking baby breaks where you're just like, I got through 20. All right, all right, how do I feel? Whatever. Breathe, do that junk, and then gotta hit it back. Make sure you take the breaks and stuff. So yeah, doing that. Do you get 6? How does it work, dude? Do you get like Do you still get a break? You get 2
So
breaks?
I haven't taken it. I actually taken it at home once, and
Oh, are you
I
going somewhere? Or are you taking it home
I'm
tomorrow?
going in somewhere because
Okay.
what happened to me was I had to go. It was at like question 40, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad that I then just
Well, dude, you're
rushed.
in there for 8 hours, bro. Like,
It,
yeah,
it was so bad for 40 to 60. I couldn't tell you what I was answering. I
yeah,
was reading, quick, go, 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 and then I
yeah.
sprinted to the bathroom.
Right on. All right. So here's other stuff. Well, I'll answer any questions you got, but here's what I'll do for you today. What time is it there? Is it 4:30 your time? 5 o'clock your time?
5 o'clock. Yeah,
All right, sweet. All right. What I'll do is okay, as long as you don't go cray cray, like as long as you don't go, let me pull up as a sorry, I was editing videos. I'm gonna pull
no,
up student. I gotta pull up a student account. Where's my student? Okay, there you go. If there's any areas that you feel a little unsure about, like I'll give you access. I'll get my dudes to give you access to the system so you can watch some videos. All right. And you can
right.
solve some questions. So if you
Yeah,
log in and stuff like that, it just get enough sleep. You're going to be fine, probably.
yeah,
You'll be fine, whatever, dude. If you fail again, I'll help you. We'll take a little bit more time. We'll be all right. So if you go into the course or whatever, like we break it down with like waterfall and agile. Sounds like you live in a waterfall world.
yeah,
So maybe if you want to, you can watch some of the agile videos, like breaking down Scrum and the frameworks and stuff. There's also like we call these like agile mastery or like these speed kind of versions. Maybe you go in there and you watch some of these speed reviews that kind of just me talking through key concepts as we go through that. And it's like, it's just me talking through concepts. So if you're
great.
feeling good, I look like a crazy person, but like you could go through some of those to see if it resonates and just to like spurn your brain a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, I'm worried about showing you too much, but it's okay.
no, no,
The other
don't
thing
worry.
you could do is you could go in like the simulator and build this stuff, all stuff ourselves. It's pretty fun. And you could
Yeah,
go and take some of like the agile scrum rolls, agile math, like these time quizzes. And then the
yeah,
thing, well, that's these don't give you the answers while you go. So you take this, you answer it, blah, blah, blah. But if you were to go and take one of like the learning quizzes just for fun, like let's just go like yeah, whatever. This or hold on, let me choose a different one. Like, I don't know, waterfall step, whatever, learning quiz. These would like give you like if you want a hint, boom, you can get like me explaining the hints and junk. And then if you pick an answer, you're like, I think it's that. Ah, no, oh, yeah, I got it right. Guess lucky. There's like a video answer, there's like related videos, and
that's
there's like a
great.
breakdown. So like don't go cray cray tonight. But if you want to go in there and just check some stuff out, do that and feel what's right. And one more thing I'll
Oh,
show you that like I think is pretty cool what we built. It's called like the 50-50 game where I stole it from like the idea from like a kid's game on the internet. So it's like you just have these like quick things. Now it's like you read the thing and you're like, that one. Oh, no, that one. And then you go through that one. I'm just picking wrong ones for
quick.
fun. Yeah, there. Boom, boom, boom. So, I mean, I don't go crazy, but I'll give you access and you can go just watch some videos, brush up, and whatever you want to call it. So you'd be good to go.
I
All right.
I mean, I appreciate you
Yeah,
completely. First
no
and
problem, dude.
foremost, let me know how much I owe you, or
Zero. I think the number
send me an
zero. But
invoice.
like pass and then tell me how it goes. I mean, and I'm not I got time. I got nothing going on till I got to call at 7. But what other questions do you have? Any other like content or
Um,
topic
I,
anything?
I wrote a few down that I think you answered,
Yeah.
but
Let me see.
um, how often do I need to do a stakeholder? Okay, so this is one thing. So
Uh-huh.
stakeholder analysis constantly is updated, correct? However, how if I have an existing stakeholder
Mm-hmm.
and my product started a year ago, am I reevaluating and identifying them, or are they
Say it one more time. I
staying?
got lost. I got lost at the beginning. Say it
Okay,
again.
so let's say my product started last January. Okay, now we're here. The stakeholder was initiated last January, but now
All right. Stakeholder
today,
register, you mean?
yeah, the
Like,
like
this
stakeholder
we've
register.
identified this stakeholder
Yeah, yeah,
Joe
I
a year
identified it.
ago or whatever. Okay, cool.
So now when I'm updating it today, am I updating his status too?
You mean the stakeholder register, right?
Yeah, in the
All right, so
stakeholder
let's think
register.
about it. You know the answer, just got to talk about it. All right, so you have a stakeholder Joe on the stakeholder register, and you've written all that stuff and whatever. And then why do we write people down on the stakeholder register? Poor K.
To track them,
Yeah,
to
track them,
really
understand them,
understand.
rank them,
Yeah,
whatever. So we go, oh, Joe's a super important dude, and he wants, he has this. He's either for us, against us, somewhere in the middle, whatever. We can use that to develop like how we communicate to him, how we engage that person. Like, are they against us? We need to get them like at least half to, and
yeah,
on board with us. So we come up with strategies. So that's the whole goal initially, is to say like, yo, how does Joe want to be is Joe important enough to communicate? Lack of a better way to explain it. But like, okay, so we're gonna put him on the weekly distribution of like the reports. We're gonna get him into like a monthly call for like big wigs that we get updated, and we're gonna send him something else. Cool. That's how we're gonna communicate with him.
yeah.
Awesome. Now in engagement, it's like, yo, he needs a little hand holding because he's kind of cantankerous or whatever. So I'm going to go talk to him one to one. I'll have one of
And
his
we're
buddies talk
updating
to
it
him,
then
whatever,
based off
whatever.
of
So
the
you're
years.
coming up with custom strategies to move them from where they are to where you want them to be, like the current versus desired. Now,
Okay.
you said like down the road, would you go and update like Joe and all the Joes? Only if you need to, dude, right? If Joe gets another job, then you wipe him off and you replace him with a new Joe. And if like you realize that like, yo, we're communicating and it doesn't seem to be resonating with that dude, then you
Then
might
I
change your strategy. That's on the communication plan, but you might adjust it in what their communication needs are. Same thing with engagement. You're like, oh, we tried a bunch of junk and he hates me more than he did when he started. We got to switch gears. So if everything's copacetic and rolling, you don't need to change stuff. But if something's off, yeah, you change it,
then we change.
then we change. It's like on a needs base. And honestly, you're going to get new dudes and dudettes that come in and new dudes and dudettes that come out. And you're going to, what the real goal of like monitoring controlling is you come up with assumptions on how best to communicate and engage. And then you figure out, is it working? And if it ain't, we pull another string. We try something else.
That makes sense. So then the stakeholder engagement plan, because it's very easy to mix up the stakeholder engagement plan and the communication
Yeah.
management plan. So the stakeholder engagement plan is really the about how to contact them, and then the engagement, the communication plan would be when you're talking to them, how to communicate with them, correct? Or am I
Yeah,
mixing?
that and deeper. Like the communication plan might be how to communicate, like the frequency, the method, all that stuff. It's more of like, if you want to do it this way, like more tactically, if you would, about like, yo, we're going to send them emails. We're going to send them the invite to this meeting. We're going to communicate in this way. And like those kind of things. And when I was a consultant for a long time, so like some of the big wigs in consulting, they were like, yo, you don't call this guy. He will
Yeah.
eat you up. You send him an email, you have the heading this way so that his secretary can, this second in command can read it, and then he gets back to you. Okay, sweet. I'll do it that way. That wasn't everybody.
Yeah.
That's just like a prickly folk. But the engagement is saying like, yo, that dude is like, resistant to us and we need him to be leading. What's the strategies? What are the strategies that we're going to use? And one of them might be communicate. The other one might be, interface with them, do whatever. So engagement's more like, how do you like warm a dude up or keep him warm? Like in that respect.
So it's like the stakeholder engagement plan is the strategy of communicating, and then
It could be communicated or other things like the engagement. So like it could be that, or if it's like engagement wise, there could be someone that's important that won't respond to you, or we believe that won't respond to the project manager. But if a friend of his goes, hey man, I was thinking about this. I thought this would help you out. Let's talk about it. It may help him out or them out, get closer to the action. So it's more of like, so one of the risks that we have in thinking about all this stuff is we think about like all these documents must be created and managed and have a stack of books, taller than your
yeah,
house. Maybe, but like the communication is like, think about like What are the meeting structure? Who needs to be involved? What are the emails that go out? At what frequency? To whom? What's inside of them? What's the structure? All that junk. That's like keeping what what webs or SharePoint do we need to set up? What information? Who's updating it? At what frequency? All that junk. Like how does the communication happen? The
Is it
engagement's
the
like,
how?
what's that?
So communication plan is the how-to.
Yeah, I mean, any management plan is the how to, right? Anything communication, anytime you see management plan, it's the how to. And so it's like the communication management plan, not to get too obtuse about this, but it's like, think about the information is going from our body, the project and stuff, out to people. And there's different ways. There's like, you can push it out, emails and stuff like
Yeah.
that. There's like meetings, interactive stuff. There's pull. You can put it on like the SharePoint or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, what we're trying to do for whom in what way when
Okay.
it comes to communication. And then the engagement is we could generally engage people, but just for simplicity, now it's like this dude, Tom, that lady, Jane, like, where is she now? How do we engage her? How do we get her where we need to be?
It's more the methods.
Methods of like engagement. It might be communication, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't know, whatever you need to do to make them hate you less if that's what you want out of them.
Okay. Would they typically ask you a question that would put you up against communication plan and the
No,
engagement plan?
I don't think that's like, would you choose this or this? I mean, heck, you just took the exam. Like, probably not one where it's
Because
like,
they're so
if this is-
similar.
yeah, they're similar, but I don't think the goal of the exam, I can't speak for the inanimate object or the people that build it. It's not to say like, do you perfectly, is it this or that? It's more of just like, do you understand the lack of a better thing, essence of what's trying to chat? The communication is how the messages are going out, and, disseminated. And the engagement is just thinking about, like I said, like the, like, connection that we have with people. I'm trying not to use the word engagement in the definition.
No, I
Like,
got it.
yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. What else you got?
Okay. So the health and safety,
Okay.
right? So I know the only time you ever react immediately is when there is a current health and safety hazard. Like it's immediate, the regulations posted. Is that correct?
I mean, anytime you say the only time, it worries me. But like, because I'm like, oh God, can I find a caveat? So let's just say it in the opposite way. If there is an immediate health, safety, whatever, of course, you ain't gonna not call the police,
Yeah.
like, or the fire department or whatever. Like, a dude just got his arm cut off. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
run to him and tourniquet that thing. Like, we're human beings. So like, yeah, if there is an immediate safety, health, or something that's impacting the project in a very, very serious way, in a sense, what we're doing is we're escalating, right? That's the word that we would do for like the issue. We would escalate it to a higher power, either the police, the fire department, the sponsor. We're escalating it because it's outside of our control.
But we wouldn't make the decision.
Well, I mean, what do you mean by that?
Like we wouldn't. So if they came out with that, we're in the middle of a project and it was said that the health and safety regulations are now mandating that you provide X in the project. We now have to escalate that, or
Maybe not in that respect. So what I would do in first is I would evaluate our project, analyze our current project to see if we're in violation or like how it affects our project. So I would promptly do that, because if you go to somebody like your boss and you say like, dude, this regulation change that now we have to do whatever, they're going to say, okay, cool. Like, they might know something else about it, by the way, but they might say like, where are we in relation to that? So you can't take forever, but you would want us to firstly like assess our condition versus that urgent change or whatever that's happening. And then from there, you can either make the adjustments if it's within your auspice to do it, or it's like you have to go up to get the help to make the change. And you might have to get authorization or whatever, change requests. Otherwise, I don't know. But like, it's pretty easy change requests to get approved if it's like the government puts us all in jail if we don't do it.
100%.
So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But like, if the one thing I was saying with like media escalation, if the well has been tainted by us or otherwise,
Yeah.
of course we're gonna bring awareness to that. But that's a very select
And we'll escalate
case.
it.
Yeah. So like escalation is obviously by design. Like we cannot solve it ourselves. We're not like running to mom or dad on everything. It's like we're
Yeah.
just gonna be using our logic. And jail's not
And
fun. I've never been.
and never and is it true that never go the project sponsor?
But that's absolutely not true. Like the word never is like too much. Never go to the sponsor. If you were the sponsor and you had somebody who worked for you working a project, do you want them to come to you if you have problems?
But isn't it high level issues only for?
What do you mean? Like, what if like they shot a dog? I don't know. That's a terrible example. I don't know. I'm making something up. But dude, like just think it through logically. Okay, so do you want to run to them on everything? No. But if it deems like, okay, let's just tactically talk about it. Like, if we're working a project and something in the nature of the environment, the business, the whatever changes the like we thought we were going to invest $1 million and win 5 million from the project. That seems like a good payoff. If now we get into the project and like something has radically changed where we invest $1 million and we're going to win $500,000. It's like, do we just go, bop, 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 go to work every day? The big boss thinks we're making 500,000. What's a zero? It's only 1. Like, no, dude, we're going to call him and be like, yo, bro, this is what happened. Like the government changed this regulation. We all got to, wear 2 left shoes to work. It's going to really slow us down and screw us up. Like now I don't think we can make 5 million. We can make 500,000. Here's my suggestion. What do you want to do? Like if it's something that attacks the foundations of what we believe the project going on, like talk to the big boss. Don't go in there like, without anything in your hands.
I need to assess it first.
Yeah, assess it, then boom, go to there, give them recommendations or deal with it, right? Or if it's like we go right up, if there's like a health, a safety, something like that, shoot, we go up to the appropriate sources.
Yeah.
But if there's like something else, it's like go through the right process, analyze it, evaluate it, do those kind of things. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Think if you were the boss. Just ask, what would you want if you were the boss? Yeah, that's
the thing is like I'm trying to. I think I've been so prone to get away from how I would think.
Yeah,
and a lot of it is how I would think.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. Yeah, like because here's the thing, if you look at stuff the right or in the way of like, yo, what would I do? And then you get questions wrong, let's just say 1 out of 10, it's like, well, we're going to agree to disagree. But like, or maybe 1.5 out of 10. But the rest of them, you're like, oh, cool. All right. This is what they say the right answer is. Either you went off of what your like brain was telling you. Yeah, you're right. That's what I would have probably done. Or you go, that's interesting. What's the logic behind it? And you can go, man, okay, maybe that is what I do, because a lot of us face scenarios where companies, organizations, governments, whatever, put us in spots where we have constraints or limitations that aren't optimal, but that's just the world we live in, where it's like, man, if we didn't have to do that, wouldn't it be awesome? So if we just appreciate that, like, yeah, this isn't perfect, it's just the world I live in, then we can get more questions right. Potentially.
What I got from that, which I completely agree with, is I'm going to mix my knowledge that I've learned over the years in the industry, and it helps me on this exam because I'm on the owner side.
Yeah, you're on the owner side. Yeah, that's good.
Most of the questions are tailored to me to then mix it with the knowledge that I've learned in all these processes. Cool. And identifying how to read the questions.
And you were so darn close, dude, that let's not change too much. Like, let's not go wild. Like, that's the risk. It's 5 o'clock the day before the exam. And we've only talked once. So do your best. You'll be fine. I'm up late tonight. So if you have any questions, don't stay up late, but you can always text me, call me, whatever, and I'll do my best. All right.
I appreciate you, man. Honestly,
all right, dude. Let me know afterwards how it goes. I'm like, I'll be thinking about you, and we'll go from there. All right, dude. I'll talk to you later, man. See ya.
All right. Have a good one.